Orders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Hello, welcome on board to another edition of Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television. And this edition is truly, really a special one because it's the anniversary edition of the show. Western Spring Television is 2 today, so drum rolls, yeah. And this is where we say happy birthday to Western Spring Television, to us here, to everyone who is affiliated to this great organization.
Right.
We have done so much for ourselves in this past 2 years.
Yes, we have.
It was crowned with an award last month by the Nigeria Union of Journalists. This is to tell you that we have really
this
done.
is where you say Ude.
Great. Thank you so much. We always say thank you, and that's because there is no us rather without you, and really we cannot spell the word us without the letter U. Thank you for being a wonderful companion. Thank you for all that you do, tuning in every time, watching us, and also giving us the thumbs up that we need
Connecting
every
to our
time.
social media pages, staying with us, setting your notifications, and of course, staying with us where we say it as it is. You are the MVP.
And this is Evelyn Ohiola, and of course Femi Ojo is also here. Let's get right to the show. Very first story this morning is, the announcement or the report we hear that we are preparing for diaspora voting because a bill to amend the Nigeria Constitution and provide for diaspora voting during elections has killed a second reading in the House of Representatives. So, if this skills another reading, is subjected to debate and what have you, and
after this, if it's taken, then we taken to a public hearing.
Then that's it. Well, let's see what people are saying at this time. January 27 says, when there is no accountability for irregularities in the elections within Nigeria, it's the one from diaspora we are supposed to trust. Their priorities are always crooked. And you can see the crying emojis there. And Block Chief says diaspora voting is actually increasing the northern voting population through Niger, Chad, North, Southern, and Sahara. We better make diaspora means Europe and America.
Right now.
And Tola Olaoshebikon says the National Assembly should urgently consider amending the Electoral Act to permit the electronic collation of results. The IREV portal should be utilized not just for viewing purposes, but also for the actual collation of results. This change will help reduce the risk of fraud during the collation phase of the electoral process. And Umfom Abia at Pretty Umfom says, let our leaders put the right structures in place first and ensure that elections are conducted properly in Nigeria. Then we can talk about diaspora voting, or else it will be doing the same thing and expecting a different result, which is actually the #1 law of madness. And we hope that we do not get to that in the country, even though some people believe that Nigeria is already a madhouse as it is. Femi, what do you think? Now, there are people that believe that we don't even have enough voters in Nigeria. There's, voter apathy. There are a lot of people. You and I sometimes don't get the opportunity to go vote on election day. So people believe that we should first work in-house before bringing in those outside, to come vote. Ensure that the security operatives, the media personnel, people that normally they're on duty, that the doctors, nurses, those on essential services get to vote ahead first, like they do it in, other climes. Yes, early voting before we now consider diaspora voting. What do you think? Do you think diaspora voting is the way to go?
I think we can do it if actually we're serious. But then the thing is, we must understand the motive of the proponents of this particular bill. Are we old enough? 64-year-old country. We are. Actually, some African countries are ready.
Kenya did
Yeah,
diaspora
so
voting.
But the thing is, I understand the people's skepticism about this because they believe we have a long way to go internally.
Yeah.
Now you want to add the rigor of having Nigerians outside the country vote as well. Two truths can coexist for me. We can do it here, manage what we have, perfect it to to an appreciable level, and then have Nigerians in other climes come into the fray as well. Somebody talked about possibly this is to favor the North. Maybe yes, maybe no. There are other Nigerians in other different parts of the country. I mean, on the continent as well. You have many Yorubas in Benin Republic as well, so that counts for something. You have many Southerners in, in Cameroon as well. Some Eastern guys are there as well. I understand that maybe the North has many of their cousins across the border, but then I'm not sure we should see from that, because if actually we are going to think about who will be the one to gain, then we won't make progress at all.
Yeah.
Let's work on what we have, and then we can have the diaspora voting as well. But then we must build trust with what we have internally firstly.
Yeah.
If not, whatever we are doing outside of the country is a mirage, and then who will be the one to even coordinate? These are the issues as well. We don't even have embassies in many of these states. Will it be done at the embassies? Will it be done at the foreign but will it be handled by the foreign mission? We need to see all of these as well. But yes, I understand. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. But we must work on what we have internally. Let the people trust what we have, and then we can trust what will be voted electronically. Or do we carry it for paper? Be these
before we would hear that they carried a ballot box in
New York,
Georgia,
or somebody's chasing somebody with cutlass somewhere in Ontario.
And if it's going to be online electronic voting, I mean, hope we won't have glitches.
Glitches, online.
It was hacked. These are the issues.
And the national grid will not collapse on the day of the election.
All right, our fingers are crossed as to how this will pan out in the coming months and years. Let's move on to the next story. Now, we know that democracy, they say, is government by the people, for the people, of the people. I mean, if you did government in secondary school, you have access to that particular definition. There are other definitions, by the way, but that one is so common and is so simple to remember. But it seems democracy now is government by inheritance, of inheritance, and for inheritance. Going back what happened at the National Assembly, where Senator Ali Ndume was making a case for the widow of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah of Anambra South, who passed on in July. Remember that story. Now, Senator Ali Ndume, senator representing Borno South, has appealed to the Senate to support the widow of late Ifeanyi Ubah to replace her husband as the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. Ndume made the appeal on Tuesday during the valedictory session organized by the Senate in honor of the late senator. Until his death, Mr. Ubah was the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream. Kano South Senator Kawu Sumaila has since been appointed to replace him. During the valedictory service, Mr. Ndume appealed to his colleagues to ensure that the late Mr. Ubah's widow replaces her husband to continue the senator's legacies. And this did not actually go down well with many Nigerians who believe, yes, we commiserate with the widow and the family of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, but this is governance. And this is not an inheritance. This is not a monarchical system where you have, what belongs to the husband given to the wife, or given to the son, or given to the brother. Although we've had that, in the past. I think somewhere in, is it Enugu or Abia, where a senator, an aspiring lawmaker died, and that was given to his brother. I've forgotten the name now, but I would remember in the course of the show. Let's take reactions at this time. Aduma Adan 6 says, so we are now practicing a hereditary monarchical system of government in the Senate. Is it a family heirloom that needs to be inherited? What exactly is going on in this country? Who deemed her worthy to decide our fate in this country? Are we using sentiment now? Why can't she go through the same process other senators went through, be voted for? Did the people she wants to represent them say they want her? I have so many questions because this is just something else. And underscore Mayor 7X says it's not a thing of competence. It's a family business and they are no longer bothered dishing it out in our faces. And Chief Mali says Mrs. Lagbaja for COAS then. Third world behavior. That's why nothing is moving in the right direction. And lastly, BN Fit One says you are not begging the Senate to pass the bill to counter food crisis in the country or improve the broken down educational system as a senator, but rather fighting for a former colleague's wife to take the seat that rightfully belongs to the citizen of this country. What do you think, Femi?
2 or 3 things for me. Number one, I think we commiserate with the family of Ifeanyi Ubah, serial business owner, business tycoon, a football club owner. He was the owner of the Ifeanyi Ubah FC, by the way. And what happened. Life happens to us all, and it is time he has left the track. But then, Ali Ndume speaking out of his sentiment, actually, and he has a right to. Either is moral or justified is another thing. Yeah. That's his sentiment, actually. And it won't be the first. By the way, you're talking about in the Southeast, it's happened here. Ademola Adeleke was a senator at the behest of his brother. Yeah. Iseke Adeleke died. Then Ademola Adeleke was brought in to complete the term. Okay, there was a voting, but then he was brought in, and after that, he gave a shot at the governorship, thing. And he's do
you think it's because it's coming from Senator Ali Ndume? It would have been, people would not have taken it with so much rage if it was coming from probably someone from Anambra South.
Yeah, maybe.
Saying, oh, maybe. Let's allow.
I think, don't forget, this happened at the validity service. Yeah. So it was what was discussed, and possibly him thinking, how can he support the family? So he has a right to say that. If he's correct, is another thing. Number two, he's saying the Senate must ensure. The Senate cannot ensure nada, except they are telling us that this is not democracy. No kuku fold down the way as they are folding it already, because the senators doesn't have a vote. There will be another vote. All the 108 of them remaining cannot vote in that election, so they are not from there. He's only possibly his emotional self, his emotions and sentiment got the better of him by saying, okay, if the senators must support, maybe logistically, maybe financially, and that is if the woman is willing. This is a grieving woman. Okay, but he speaks to the average mind of a politician that is about the election. It's about the election. I'm not sure the woman is even thinking that. She has just loved the love of her life. She's a mother to children. Yeah. And I'm not sure she will be processing many things right now. Okay, but then that's how the average mind of a Nigerian politician works. Is about the next election. It's about power. It's about winning. And he's already thinking about the only thing we can use to immortalize this man is to give the ticket to his wife. He doesn't have a say as far as democracy is concerned. Yeah. Not even Godswill Akpabio has a say. Sure. They can have a say politically by influencing how the next person from that village or from that constituency might emerge. Exactly. But they don't have a vote there, and that's where it ends, actually. But I understand the people's outrage to say, this is just all about, this is what you people think about. It's just, if it's not the man, then it's the woman. Who tells you he's maritally transferable? And these are some, he's not even genetically transferable, but that won't be the first. If a brother can take over another brother's position, why can't a wife take over the husband position? But these are sentiments. If the people of Anambra are willing to go that route, it will be their choice.
Of course, and talking about a brother taking over, I talked about that case in Enugu, the late Oyibo Chukwu of the Labour Party who died, and the ticket was given to his brother to go ahead.
There's a consensus.
It was a consensus, but then let's move on to the next and final story this morning. Online cruise, mother and son online cruise. Now, this is the case of, a son calling out this present administration. And when I talk about a son, Bashir El-Rufai's son, to former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, saying, taking the side of Obasanjo. This has to do with the Obasanjo presidency issue, the banters and, accusations and counter-accusations. And it kind of took sides with former President Olusegun Obasanjo, saying attacking Obasanjo with the state of the country now has to be a mental illness permeating the whole media communications team. Inflation is at 33% to ineffectual clowns. Now, he is talking to the handlers of Mr. President. Now, his mother, the former First Lady of Kaduna State, replied his tweet and said, "Are you sure you'd be saying this if your father were part of this government?" And he replied, his mom says, "I believe I would actually, because I would believe he would have resigned by now due to the failures. He would want to disassociate with himself, Mama." And with that love image, he has actually deleted that particular post, as you can see on the screen. But people feel, okay, was this a sarcastic comment by the mother? Was this kind of, he are saying this is what people would have said. So are you sure if your father was there? And people believe, oh, is it that they is just pure cruise online, or they are just, people, in fact, some people ask, are we sure the mother and the father are still together, with this kind of comment? But let us take reactions at this time. Oraro says, nobody should take this post seriously. It's all staged.
Yeah.
And Victor_AD says, I beg, share the mama and papa day in good terms. People are wondering. And SON, son of Nkechi, says, what if she was being sarcastic with a comment? Think outside the box. And Babangida Ibrahim says, his mom is speaking the truth. If his dad were part of the government, he wouldn't be so loud, because he would be praising Tinubu everywhere and insulting those who oppose the government. Femi, what do you think? Do you think this was pure cruise? Do you think Hadiza El-Rufai was being sarcastic? And what was this? When I saw it, I was like, Kitulele. That was what came to my mind.
Did this happen on a family WhatsApp group?
It happened on X.
On X, right?
Yes, on X.
This is the kind of story that either MM Song or Kunle Afolayan or Funke Akindele, any of those movie producers should do. This cruise.
It's cruise, pure cruise.
I know what Hadiza, the wife, I think that's the first wife of Malam. Actually, she's somebody that, if she's in the mood, she can be a alert, actually. She does clap back. She does basketballs. She takes online lessons, English lessons as well. She has had a go at Ubasani before. She's somebody who sometimes can be humorous and can be anything at any time. For you to know Bashir for what he is, I think that's Bashir, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is somebody. In fact, the brothers, the El-Rufai brothers, they can be very blunt. Most of the times negative, actually. Yes, that's Bashir. Even with Bello, the honorable member, there is a way. But this picture is giving me some kind of, the things look stupid, one kind of, like we are holding a baby. I don't understand. But then, it's just cruise. Take it as a cruise. It is what it is, actually.
All right, we have to go. Thank you for being a part of our world. We'll make a return tomorrow for the last installment of Spring Trends for this week. We got to celebrate. Abby, Femi. All right, my name is Evelyn Ohiola. See you tomorrow.
This is the part we should have been playing. Happy birthday.
We'll play it after. We'll play it after the show. Bye-bye.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered, because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 10, only on StarTimes.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Evelyn Ohiole,
Hi.
King Eve. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you? And you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine will be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? You know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday? They are saying it favors you, favor. Are they vague so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Well, you know.
Well, MC Too Much said he likes saying when I was in the world, and the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent facially, but deep down, he's actually out of this world. We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So MC Too Much, I beg when you talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk about like his own words.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach too much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his words, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.